welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now our last build we went video game when we built the M3 Predator from Mass Effect. Super cool. And if you missed that build, we're going to include the link in the description below to our homepage so you can go over there and check out M3 Predator or any of the other super cool builds we have there. Now for this build, we're going to go manga or manga. Again, it depends on who you're talking to, so be careful. So without further ado, Black Sheep Props would like to introduce you to the newest member of the family. Sweet, check it out. It is the Britannia Pistol from Code Geass. Very cool. Super simple style in the animation style. It's got that kind of weird thick handle. It's kind of a little bit awkward, but not too bad. Super simple build, super simple paint job. We've got basically this whole bottom handle and top thing is one section, and then we build this whole top section on. A lot of layering, a lot of cool bevel cuts to get all this nice grooving happening all in between these sections. So if you look at it at the front, it has all these cool angles on it. Easy stuff too. So in this episode, making an EVA foam Britannia Pistol, we're going to go step by step through how to make it, and we're going to seal it and paint it too. So, and we have a template for this thing too, so if you want to build along with us, you can. We'll include the link in the description below to our channel's storefront, so you can go yank a template if you want, or don't, just hang out and check out the video. Alright, so that's it, man. Enough of me yapping, no more gum flapping. If you're ready to hit it, let's make something. Okay, here we go. We're going to start the central core of our pistol with an 18mm piece as the base, and then we're going to put a 4mm piece on both sides. So we're going to cut all these out. Okay, now we're coming in with our brass tube, and we're going to pop out the circle here. All right, there we go. All right, now we're going to come in right off the edge of this circle. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now you know the drill with our contact cement. We talk about it every time. You coat both sides with the contact cement, you let it completely dry, then after it dries, it can make contact. Perfect. Okay, there we go. We've got our little step down on both sides. Okay, now we're going to cut out that red line. That's going to be our cutting line. Okay, now we're going to cut it off right here at this line, and this line right here. All right, there we go. Okay. Now we're set. See how you have to kind of cut your template apart for this step right here? All right, there we go. Now we're going to go over to the bandsaw and the scroll saw, and we're going to cut this out. Okay, now we went over to the table and we hacked out an opening with our X-Acto knife so we can feed the scroll saw blade through there and cut our trigger out. Okay, now we're going to take a piece of 4mm foam and lay it under here so this is level. All right. Okay. Mighty nice. And when you go through the bandsaw, down at the bottom, you pick up these tiny little frays. So we just come by and we knock them all off. See that right there? And we'll just go around the whole piece and clean those up. Sometimes. That fits in our hand pretty darn good. Now this handle's a little bit thicker than I would like, but this is actually an exact copy of the images of the pistol. So a little bit of a thick handle, but it should be okay. Okay, we made a mistake, which you'll do a lot, but just chill out, we can fix it. Now we were supposed to attach one more piece to both sides of this before we cut it out. Ah, dang it. So as you can tell, this was our shape. And you can see this line right here and around here and down to the corner. We were supposed to line this up right in the corner like that on both sides before we cut it out. So now we're gonna have to try to cut this piece and perfectly match up back here. All right, like that. Like that. Okay, this little corner right here, there's our line right there. Make some little measurements and adjustments, and it lines up down at this side, and it touches right at the bottom right there, and it fits in there. Okay, this is not even, so we probably want to cut a little bit off right there. There is exact fit that we want. So we're going to cut two of these out of 3mm foam. And we stand our knife up pretty straight so we can use the tiniest part of the blade to do these little curves. Because you can pivot the knife real easy when the knife is standing up straight. See what it looks like. Oh, that lines up perfect, okay? We've got it matching up with the little edge back here, and it's matching up in all the corners. That's pretty darn nice. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to taper the whole edge of this piece. Okay, now because this is kind of flimsy and we want to be really accurate, we use a thicker piece of foam and we set it underneath it as support, just like that. Okay, let's bring it down here. We just want to be able to hold it flat while we're doing it. Okay, now that's got a really nice taper around it, but what we want to do is up here around the front, right here, and around here, right to here, we want to do it a little bit more. Okay, check that out. I zoomed in so you could see it. We did a nice bevel around the whole edge, and we did it even further on this side, but we came right to the bottom Sharpie line. All the way around. We have to be very careful to stop right before the edge because we want a crisp edge. So when we come in and we stick this on there, ooh, man, that's going to be beautiful. Look at that. All right, sweet. Now we're going to... This is where we got to be careful because we want to line up all of our back details perfectly flush with the edge. Okay, that's nice. Now we can lay it down inside of our Sharpie mark. So we got to bend it in place a little bit there. All right, there we go. Perfect. Look at that. Nice. Lined up at the back edge. Taper all the way around it. A small taper on the back and a nice big one on the front. Really cool. Looks good. Okay, now we're going to do some dremeling. We don't want to touch here or here. We want a square edge here on both sides. Okay? But we're going to go around the whole piece and we're going to sort of slightly round it. And even though this is nice and flush right here, we're going to really clean it up with the Dremel. All right, there we go. We've got softened down here in the trigger area, all the way around the edges, a lot around here. It looks good. And then we just smooth the seam right there so it looks really nice. Ooh, that is super cool. All right, let's tighten this whole thing up with some heat. It's gonna seal our foam and tighten it up a little bit. Foam tightened up pretty nice. Handle feels good. Okay, now we've got our other grip piece, also a 3mm. All right, there we go. Nice taper around our edge. Okay, there we go. We've got our gluing area marked. Just like okay, there we go. That's a beautiful handle right there. Ooh, that feels pretty good. And again, we talked about it. That's kind of a thick handle, but that's the way it is. Okay, we're going to cut these 6mm pieces. That's pretty nice. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to slightly soften the top edge. Okay, now we're going to slide that in, right in there nice and tight. We're going to get this kind of centered on there. Hold it down while it bonds. All right, here goes the top part of our barrel. We've got a 24mm base and we've got two 6mm pieces. We'll cut this on the bandsaw. We'll cut these with our other knives. Right back here, line up this corner, and we're going to go right down this top side, right there. Okay, there we go. All right, now we're going to come in with this 6mm piece. There we go. Just like that. Let's press it down. Perfect. There we go. Okay, here's our little template that was marked angles. So we're going to come in. Alright, that's how we're going to be cutting this thing out. So what we're going to do is transfer those lines over to the side. Okay, now we drew those lines around to the side, and we're going to send this through the bandsaw because we want to cut these beveled angle cuts. Right here, 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 and here. Alright, so we're going to take this over to the bandsaw and we're going to use this angle. And we're going to tip our table to match that angle so we can cut the bevel cuts on this piece. Okay, there we go. We've got the bevel cut down this side, and we cut one here right up to this line, and then we stopped. Okay, because we're going to come in with our X-Acto knife and we're going to slice right through there like that. Ooh, look at that. That is a really nice bevel right down to there, and then it stops. That is pretty cool. Okay, there we go. That's pretty cool. These angles are really nice. Now we've got one more cut to make. We're going to knock this off. Alright, check that out. We've got the angle cut here, 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 and here. We knocked out this little center area right there. Nice. Now we've got these overhanging, but what we want to do is we don't want them to look this thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to bevel on this inside with our Dremel. Okay, there we go. Check that out. See how these used to be really thick right here? But we tapered them so that they're kind of pointy right there. Very nice. Alright, now when we bring this in and we pop it on there, those won't look so thick. That's a good look right there. Alright, now we're going to come in and we're going to try to get some of these bandsaw marks off of here. So we are going to come in with our 80 grit sandpaper and we're going to hit this edge, try to get some of those bandsaw stripes off there. Now we're going to come in with our 220, that's a little bit finer grit, just to get it a little bit smoother. Alright, let's tighten this up with some heat now. Got a little bit of a raised edge right here, so we're going to slice this off in the bandsaw just to get a nice flush back. Alright, there we go. Flat back. There we go. It's big and it's chunky, but that is how it looks. Okay, now we're going to start doing the details that are going to go on the bottom section of our barrel on both sides. It's going to be made up of 2mm and some 6mm. And what we're going to do here is we're going to cut bevels on both sides of these 6s and on one side of these 6s. Okay, so we're going to come in, we're going to tip our knife, just like that, roll through. Alright, there we go. Check that out. Nice, simple bevel. Okay, there we go. These two have bevels on both sides. These two have it on one side. Alright, there we go. Nice and even. Now we're going to line this up with our Sharpie marks right there. We got our 6mm pieces with the bevels on them, stuck down to our 2mm. Now okay, there we go. Okay, now we're bringing our template in where we're going to cut this off at. Just like that. Okay. Ooh, nice. Very. We might round this. Actually, we don't need to round that edge off. Do we? Yes, let's hit just this top edge right here, just to round it. Okay, coming in again with our super glue. Now we could be using contact cement for this because it's a pretty large piece, but since it's got kind of a curve on there, I would just as soon use a foam squeegee. We can control it real tight like that. Beautiful. Front edge down. Our back edge down. Let's go right along this edge and just tighten it up. Okay, now let's come in with our 80 grit sandpaper. Alright, then we're coming in with our 220. Okay, now we're coming in with this 3mm piece and a 4mm. Nice. All right, now we want to smooth this front out a little bit. Okay, we're going to make the sight really easy, 12mm and a 4mm. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to take this 12mm piece over to the bandsaw and knock it out. Okay, there we go. Now, we always say this. We obviously didn't send our fingers this close through the blade. We used some spare pieces of foam and we held it from the side. Never mess with getting too close to the bandsaw. All right, we're going to cut our little frays off of the edge. Just like that. All right, nice. Look at that. We've got our main piece and our little fin at the top. All right, now we're going to take this little 18mm piece over to the bandsaw. All right, there we go. Simple little wedge. All right, there we go. This was the same width as this piece. Nice. It's supposed to look like a separate little piece on there, and it does. Okay, here's a little 4mm piece of foam. We're going to cut these two little rectangles out with beveled edges. Okay, there we go. There's the line that they're going to sit on, and the little dot is the center of our piece. Right. Nice. Okay, now we're going to come in with these two foam dowels, 18mm and 12mm. Slice right through. Okay, there we go. We've got two little circles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slightly soften one edge. Okay, we've got a soft edge around there. Now we're going to take this one and we're going to try to round it. A little ring for the base and a little round top. Okay, we're going to use this 18mm dowel again. Then we're going to come in with our brass tube. Perfect. Like so. Let's slightly round the edge off. Okay, now we drew this little shape on here. It's on an 18mm piece of foam. It's got the flat bottom, the angle, and then the top part, and then another angle. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut that out on the bandsaw. Okay, there we go. See that? No. Okay, right there is the center. Okay, now we're gonna pop right through here with our brass tube, just like that. Okay, now we're going to come in and we're going to cut these edges right there and right there. Oh, that's nice. Super glue on the base. Simple little detail, but really cool. All right, here's our trigger on a 6mm piece of foam. We can't cut our trigger absolutely perfect, but because foam is foam, we can wedge it in there real tight. Whoa. And oh, nice. There's no gaps down in these corners on either side. Oh my gosh, that is sweet. Okay, now we're going to do the little detail that goes right in between here. So that required some measuring, okay? So we don't have a template for it. You have to build first and then get your measurement across here. Right, we're going to use a 24mm dowel, this distance, and we're going to be wrapping it with this 3mm piece of foam. Right, so we took a little test wrap and we wrapped it around to get the proper length. So we know this is the right length right here to wrap around our dowel. And cut our wrap. Since it's a wrap, we cut the end with a tiny, tiny slight bevel, like that. Little X pieces out. Now that's going to be on the bottom, so you won't see it, but even though it's going to be on the bottom and you won't see it, nice, we got the little gaps in between. Now we're going to go over to the bandsaw and we're going to knock this off so we have a nice flat cut on the back of it. We're going to use super glue for this. So slide this right into where we want it. And we're going to hold it real tight like that so it attaches at the front. Okay. Push this end up real tight. All right, that's in there pretty nice. Let's seal it with some heat. Not bad, man. That is really sharp. Check that out. That is a swell looking prop right there. A lot of nice details, really simple. We just layered up a bunch of stuff, took our time, lined up edges. Pretty nice. All right, so with that last detail, putting this cylinder barrel thingamajig in here in the middle, that brings the build portion of our Code Geass Britannia Pistol to a close. Okay, we're out at the spray stand. We're going to begin coating our Code Geass pistol with our Plastidip. And you know what we always say, even if you're outside in a well-ventilated area, do not spray without your respirator. Okay, there we go. Coated with several coats of Plastidip. Some of it's still a little bit wet, but it's already starting to dry in other parts. This is a really easy prop to coat. All right, let's hang it up by the trigger. We'll let it dry, then we'll paint it. Okay, here we are at the spray stand. We're going to begin coating our pistol with our matte gray. And you know what we always say, even if you're outside in a well-ventilated area, do not spray without your respirator. All right, there we go. Check it out. Super easy. Coated it with our matte gray. We're going to hang that up and let it dry. All right, now we're going to come in with our black. That's it. We're going to take our time. We're going to cut in all around this front end that we need to make black and our switch. Now we're going to come in and we're going to start doing the same thing on our handle. Okay, we're going to get the bulk of it. We're going to stay away from the really tiny edges. We're going to go in with a smaller brush for that. But we're going to come in and fill in most of it. All right, there we go. We've got all of our main areas filled in. Now we're going to come in with a smaller brush. Okay, now we're going to come in with our apple red. Just like that. All right, there we go. We're gonna let that dry, then we're gonna hit it with another coat. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm assuming in the animation this is supposed to be metal, but it doesn't look like metal. In the animation cells that I've been looking at, it just looks flat gray. So that's as simple as the paint job is, but wow, that thing turned out really cool. Super fun. All right, you saw how easy that paint job was. We sprayed it with our matte gray, and then we just went in and we cut in with our brush, big brushes and little brushes. We cut in and did our black, which was super easy. You just got to be careful. And then we did a couple coats of our apple red for where the beam comes out. And that's it, man. Not bad. Got that big, weird, chunky handle, but it's kind of cool. All right, there we go. So with that last detail, painting the little red laser part on the front, that brings our Code Geass Britannia Pistol build to a close. Kapow. There it was. Like I said, pretty darn easy and really easy paint job. Easy build, easy paint job. But this is just one of those. We wanted it to match the style of the animation. So easy build. And like we said, easy paint job. We sprayed it with our gray, and that was easy. And then we just came in and brushed in a couple little black parts. Just be careful when you're cutting in, which is not hard. And we did our little red spot up here where the beam comes out. And again, the cells, the animation cells that we were looking at, I'm sure this is supposed to be metal, but they just look flat gray in almost every single image. So we just did it to look like it looks in the animation stills. So there you go. Easy stuff. That's about it. That concludes making an EVA foam Britannia Pistol. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.